can't see for the sun. Just go forward to the left now. I don't know, a little bit. What's that?
I just thought you would remember.
No, I don't know.
Disadvantages when you're in the distance.
A bit more of a duck hunt than this one, guys. This one thing is what makes it all spin around, and every horse has got the inner workings underneath it to make sure that the horse goes up and down. Referencing back to what we said before about the horses when they used to go forwards and backwards as well, it was a mechanical nightmare. It really was, and it has not run like that for 20 years now. That is the pure reason. The motors to make that happen are still here, just in case we decide to give it another go in the future. The engineers might do. We wouldn't usually. Our operators would usually just be up there operating the ride. Yeah. Super special tunnel. Would any of you have any idea why this tunnel exists? Or what it might lead to?
I guess it would lead to Valhalla.
Valhalla? Interesting guess.
Don't think we've had that one.
Yeah, it's usually a few different ones, but basically, obviously, because Pleasure Beach was, as in the name, it was built on a beach. This is an old sewage tunnel that it leads straight to the sea. Obviously, as you can tell, very dry, not in use anymore.
Thank God.
But hey, if you've watched any previous vlogs, some people might believe that it goes to Blackpool Tower. But
My fault. My fault.
She's very convincing. But,
Never trust a Scouser.
But yeah, it only leads to the sea, and obviously it's not in use anymore because there isn't any more that passes through there. To meet changing, we get on the board and we'll get into them and then we'll order every place and any bigger jobs that need to be done on the ride will get done over when the area is closed. Alright, so if everybody's ready, we'll start to head back up. Once again, look at the green cushions.
What's your head?
I think I chose to like make it.
Yeah, I don't.
Think it was like, yeah, this isn't good for me, and he was constantly ducking. I took him round the tunnel and the guy just allowed to fit through. And he was like,
Well, did we miss the walkthrough, was it?
I know, that would have been so good. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Was that when we were on holiday?
Yeah, it's when we were flying out to Orlando, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was that Orlando the first time or when we just went down?
No, the first time.
When we went last year.
Yeah.
Just watch your step when you first come through here.
What?
Dave hates these, doesn't he?
It doesn't hate to be, yeah, he's just a little bit like weird. He's not the biggest fan.
Oh, it's always cold.
It used to be really open. The thing used to be really open. It was even more here.
So we're underneath the Sahara Maxim captive flying machine. How the ride works, we've got two electric motors down on that end that turn those wheels, that ultimately turn the ropes, that turn this beautiful Victorian style cog that's never built that way these days. And then that goes across to that key kind of little cog there, if you can see, which drives the big cog, which is the central column of the ride, which ultimately makes the ride turn and spin. And Pleasure Beach was originally built on. The name Pleasure Beach comes from the fact we were originally on the beach. And there's a few places around the park we can still see sand. There's here. There's if you're looking very quickly when you do the head shot moment on the Big Dipper. If you've never been on the ride, you know where I mean. And the whole of the underside of the station on the Woking Street, which we used to run two trains on there when the trains move around. That's all a big sand pit as well, as originally built on the beach. We can see some stairs. So I've got you around here, it's got a nice sign, you're on the other side of the window. If anyone wants a photo taken here, I'm happy to take it for you. It's your chance to be alright. Anyone want a picture? Yeah. I don't mind. Nice. There you go. No problem. Anybody else? Yeah. And remember, it's only running on half, so you can imagine how noisy it gets when it's going on full. There we go. You'll be able to tell, hopefully, when it gets up to full speed.
And it weren't working. And then I came back up and it was so I was like, that's not again. And then
That's just slowing down. Slowing down.
What did you think of the top of the case of the other day? Do you think that was a gimmick? It's still blue.
Oh, no. Do you know what? It's really...
Yeah. About time, do we? This is where the Journey to Hell thing is. I remember this. That's where the Jack the Ripper was up the top of the stairs there. Hey?
He used to bring that fella back, he was so good. Because I was disappointed that she only came up the stairs and he wasn't there.
I know.
He was still there, so it's not it feels ridiculous like this way around. Because we always walk from like that way.
I know.
You can see it's still set up for Journey to Hell. We use this as one of our horror tunnels. It looks a lot different. I won't walk through it with the actors really. It's from scratch for Halloween. Then it will cost an absolute fortune, and we're actually just making use of the fact that we've got hundreds of tunnels already. Okay, so we are in the River Caves building, and the River Caves is one of those, when I said we had links with Coney Island, there's actually a company called the London Company that came up with this style of ride. They can be called a mill chute ride, or actually Tunnel of Love. That's where Tunnel of Love name comes from.
Dave's done now. And some bombs. There we go. Oh, there's a in the coffin there as well. Watch the steps here. Why?
I didn't change the caves too much. I like them, I've learned from when I was a kid.
Revolution will be climbing up that thing again. We went last time, but
yeah.
probably won't.
Do you remember we saw the red arrows?
Oh yeah.
When we were...
That's repaints, yeah.
What?
I thought they had a repaint.
Oh look, there's where
That's where the Grand National was. Well, not Grand National, Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so we are in the Icon station, and what can I tell you about the ride? Do you remember does anyone remember what it was like before Icon was built? We used to have a big bridge going across the park, called Tom Sawyer's Bridge, that went over a big boating lake, and we had a ride for a bit called the Spin Doctor on either side of... Remember what I said about throughput? Particularly for the Derby race and the flying machines. With the Spin Doctor ride, I think it had 4 seats on each end of a big arm. And then when you were loading it, the other arm was stuck up in the air. That was the scariest part of the ride, I think. There. But it had a really slow throughput. So, and when we are looking at space for rides, we kind of identified that whole area as being like, okay, we could probably get a coaster in here. And if you're wondering where the design of the train came from, again, that was Amanda, but she was inspired by some wallpaper. And if you think I'm joking, next time you're in Coaster's restaurant, look at the wallpaper on the wall, and that is the wallpaper that inspired the design of the train you see here. When we're open, you'll see when we cross the track, we do this, we're signalling to the operator up there, which then take their hands off the controller we're about to cross. We're going to go through a really awkward door here, and we're going to cross over. It's easiest to cross from the front part of the train. Just be aware that there's, at the end, either end, there's a drop hazard, and I don't want anyone to fall, alright? But you'll see what I mean by awkward door in a second. So if you follow me. So we're crossing. Watch the edge there, guys.
So.
Alright, so now you see the other side of it, and in here we can store the other trains. We've got 3 trains and we can run 3 trains. At the moment we've got 2 trains and a bit of a train. If you're wondering where the Enzo train is, it's the one that's in the back there, and it's slowly being built back up. We're going to give you a little fashionable hat to wear, if that's alright, for the next few minutes, only because we're going to go underneath the train in a minute, and I don't want you to bang your heads. And a couple of other things you'll notice is that the trains in here aren't actually on any track. You've got this weird piece of track at the thing which lines up with the track when that big platform has all moved across. But the reason they're not is so they're all, the weight of the train is all on little casters that are in this part of the train that are holding the train up, and that's so that the wheel assembly is fully exposed, so that the engineers, when they're down there, can get full access and take the wheel off, change it, do some work and so on without that being inhibited at all. You can also see the restraint. You're very lucky today because you can see the back of the restraint's open, and this ride is super safe because most roller coasters would have what's called a redundancy. So on the big one, if you can imagine, you've got the primary restraint, which is your lap bar, and then you've got a secondary restraint, which is your seatbelt, although you can undo your seatbelt, like you could in the car. On this ride, we have the redundancy built into the back. There's two little hydraulic systems in there which rotate between the two, with the other one providing a redundancy every time the train goes round. So the redundancy is actually built into the back, but then we have a secondary redundancy because we added a seatbelt after the first year of operation. And no one is coming out of this ride. If you're wondering why we added this, it's because we're friends with Leesburg, and they have got a similar ride called Helix, which they had before us, and they made that change and they recommended it to us, and we listened to them, and so that's why. So let's go and have a wander underneath. Be very careful of your heads when we go down.
Sound system.
Feel free to have a wander, guys. Sorry, guys. So you can see what I mean about access to the wheel assembly under here. No traffic. So if there's a crack in the wheel or whatever, they'll be able to attend. And you'd know if you were riding it and there was damage to this polyurethane on a modern coaster. So if you've ever been to the big one and it's got a bit bumpy, because it probably needs a wheel being changed. It's also why we do a wheel check on a big one each day. And also under here, see those magnets? This is because this is an LSM coaster, so the red and blue there under the train, they line up but don't touch the stators, which are the white sections on the launch track, on the straight piece of launch track. And what you do is you run an electric current through them, and that creates a magnetic field. And you know when you're trying to push two magnets together, they don't like it and they push apart. The track is basically repelling the train, which is what's getting the train to move from 0 to 50 in 2 seconds. So imagine when Enzo, first we had the idea of doing Enzo, which we crossed.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Put it on. Nice one.
Really nice picture over here with those. If anyone wants a photo under the brake run, I'm happy to take it for you.
That's incredible.
So watch out. And then watch this step here.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
He does, but he can't say. Why even have to duck on this?
What do you reckon? Imagine you've done this before,
Yeah,
you know,
I
don't you?
just make it for him.
Oh, this one here. Alright, give it a test run.